Hello friends, welcome to C#ADO.NET tutorial. In this video, we will see about the data table and we will learn the basics of data table. Previously, we learned about data set, and we know that a data set may have one or more data tables. And in this video, we will understand data table of the ADO.NET. A data table which can participate in dataset is an in-memory representation of rows and columns of information, right? So we already talked about data table in the previous video when we are discussing about the dataset. A dataset may have multiple data table, and we can even establish a relationship between the table, right? So a data table and relation as well as constraints all together can be collected in a data set. So here we are talking about data table. So it can be a member of a data set and it represents a row and a column of data. A data table can act independently without a data set. So a data table can participate in data set or it can act individually also. That means you can create a data table separately and use it. If your code want to represent any data in tabular format, you can use the data table. For example, list of files in a directory with properties like file name, size, date created can be presented in a data table, right? So you can place a data table and you can represent data in the form of file name, file size, date created, all those stuff you can present in a data table. ADO.NET data table exposes following collections. One is DataColumnCollection, and another one is DataRowCollection, then constraints collection. Let's say we have a data table. So when we are talking about data column collection, so these are all the columns, right? This is header row. Let's state these are all the columns and they together form the data column collection, right? So it also contains data row collection. So if we state this is one row, second row, third row, fourth row, and they together form data row collection. So we can also have a constraint collection that we will discuss later. We can access this collection via rows and columns properties. So rows will give you the data row collection, right? It will give data row collection, and columns property will give you the data column collection. A single row is represented by data row. So if you take this is a data row. That means when you iterate over the data row collection, you will get a data row, and from the data row you can read the value, right? A single row is represented by the data row and column is represented by a data column. D1, D2, D3, D4 here in our example. Data column object is useful to get schema information about the column. So if you take D1 and you can get schema information like the column name, its data type and other details. If we want to go through the data, we can iterate over the rows collection, right? Each one is a data row, and that way you can iterate through all 4 rows here in this example. If we want to go through the data, we can iterate over the row collection and make use of data row in each iteration. That's all here in this video. In the next video, we will create an example to understand DataSet, DataTable, and other collections. Thank you for watching. Bye.